Marcus Chun had been a high school math teacher for 11 years. He lived in a modest apartment in Portland, paid his bills on time, and spent his weekends hiking or reading science fiction novels. His life was unremarkable in the best possible way, predictable, stable, comfortable. On a Tuesday morning in March, Marcus tried to log into his bank account to pay his electricity bill. The login screen appeared as usual. He entered his credentials, and then nothing. The page refreshed to a plain white screen with a single line of text. Access temporarily restricted. Please contact customer service. He called the bank's customer service number. After 20 minutes of hold music, a representative named Jennifer answered. "I can't access my account," Marcus explained. "It says access is restricted." "Let me check that for you, sir." A pause. Keyboard clicks. "I see. Your account has been flagged." "What does that mean?" "I don't have those details, sir. It just shows as flagged in our system." "But why?" "I haven't done anything unusual. I just need to pay my bills." "I understand your frustration, sir, but I don't have access to the specific reasons. You'll need to speak with our security department." "Okay. Can you transfer me?" "They don't accept transfers, sir. ULL need to email them at security@portlandbank.com, and they respond within 5 to 7 business days." Marcus sent the email immediately. The automated reply confirmed receipt and promised a response soon. He tried not to worry. Maybe it was a mistake, some algorithm glitch. These things happened, but his credit card stopped working that afternoon. When he tried to buy lunch at the deli near school, the card reader beeped angrily and displayed declined. He tried his debit card. Same result. The cashier looked at him with that particular blend of pity and suspicion reserved for people whose cards do not work. "I'll just come back," Marcus mumbled, leaving his sandwich on the counter. He called the bank again. Different representative, same script. "Your account has been flagged, sir." No explanation. No timeline. Just wait for the email. 3 days passed. No email. His rent was due in a week. He had maybe $40 in cash. Marcus called the bank every day, sometimes twice. Each representative said the same thing with slight variations. Flagged, no details. Wait for security on Friday. He received a notification from his email provider. When he tried to log in, the screen said, "Account suspended pending review." There was a link to a support form. He filled it out, explaining that he needed access to his email, that this was affecting his ability to handle a banking issue. The form submitted successfully. An automated response said they'd review his case. Marcus stood in his apartment, staring at his locked computer screen. No bank access. No email. His phone still worked, but who even had phone numbers anymore? Everything was done through email and banking apps. At school on Monday, the principal called him into her office before first period. "Marcus, sir, I need to talk to you about something sensitive," Ms. Rodriguez said, not meeting his eyes. "The district received a notification about you over the weekend." His stomach dropped. "What kind of notification?" "I don't have the details, just that you've been flagged in a background screening system that the district subscribes to. I'm going to need you to go home while we sort this out." "Flagged?" "Ms. Rodriguez, I don't understand." "Flagged for what?" "I don't have that information. The notification doesn't specify. It just indicates that something has been flagged that requires additional review. But I've been teaching here for 6 years. I've had background checks. What could possibly—" "I understand this is frustrating," Marcus, I'm sure it's a misunderstanding, but until it's resolved, I can't have you in the classroom. It's policy. How do I resolve it? Who do I talk to? The notification came from a company called Trustville. I'll email you their contact information. They should be able to help. Marcus drove home in a daze. He didn't have email anymore. He couldn't receive the contact information. He called the school office from his cell phone and asked them to text him the details instead. 20 minutes later, he had a phone number and a website. He called Trust Verify. The automated system asked him to enter his social security number, which he did. Then it asked for his case number. He didn't have a case number. He pressed 0 repeatedly until he reached a human. Trust Verify. This is Brandon. How can I help you? I was told I've been flagged in your system. My employer suspended me because of it. I need to know what's going on. I'll need your case number, sir. I don't have one. I just found out about this today. One moment. Typing sounds. Can you verify your social security number and date of birth? Marcus provided both. I see an entry here, but I'm not able to access the details of the flag. You'll need to submit a formal inquiry through our website. I can't access my email right now. Can I do it over the phone? Unfortunately, no, sir. All inquiries must be submitted through our secure online portal. You'll receive a response within 10 business days. 10 days? I can't work for 10 days. I can't access my money. Please, there has to be someone I can talk to. I understand your frustration, sir, but I'm not authorized to provide details on flagged entries. The inquiry process is the only way to request a review. Marcus hung up. He sat on his couch and tried to think clearly. He needed money. He needed his job. He needed to understand what was happening. He drove to his bank branch. Maybe if he spoke to someone in person, they could help. The branch was small, just 3 teller windows and 2 desks. He approached the desk of a woman whose nameplate read Sarah Kowalski, branch manager. I need help, he said. My account has been flagged, and no one will tell me why. Sarah listened to his story with a practiced expression of concern. She typed on her computer, clicked her mouse, frowned. I can see the flag here, Mr. Chun, but I don't have access to the underlying information. That would be with our main security office. I've called them. I've emailed. No one will tell me anything. I understand. Unfortunately, when an account is flagged at this level, branch staff can't override it. It's a security protocol. But what did I do? I just want to know what I did wrong. The system doesn't provide those details to us. I'm sorry. Marcus felt something crack inside him. How am I supposed to fix something if no one will tell me what's broken? Sarah looked genuinely sympathetic. I wish I could help more. Have you tried filing a complaint with the banking ombudsman? What's that? It's an independent office that investigates complaints against banks. They might be able to get more information. She wrote down a website and phone number on a post-it note. Marcus took the note and left. In his car, he tried to call the ombudsman office, but it was after business hours. He'd have to wait until tomorrow. That night, his internet stopped working. He called his service provider. After the usual hold time, a representative told him his account had been suspended. Why? Marcus asked, though he already knew the answer. It shows here that your account has been flagged for security reasons. What security reasons? I don't have access to that information, sir. You'll need to contact our security compliance team. Marcus didn't bother asking how. He knew it would be another form, another website, another automated system that wouldn't give him answers. He lay in bed that night with his phone, the only connection he had left to the world. He searched for information about being flagged, about mysterious account suspensions, about people who suddenly found themselves locked out of their lives. He found forums full of people with similar stories. Some had been flagged for weeks, some for months. A few claimed they eventually got reinstated, but they never knew what had triggered the flag in the first place. One post caught his attention. They're all connected now. Banks, background check companies, credit bureaus, internet providers. They share data through these security networks. If one flags you, they all do, and none of them have to tell you why. There's no law that says they do. Marcus read late into the night, his phone screen glowing in the darkness. He read about algorithmic decision-making, about false positives, about people who shared names with criminals or who had been misidentified by facial recognition software. He read about the opacity of modern systems, the way decisions were made by algorithms that no human fully understood, enforced by policies that no one could explain. The next morning, he called the banking ombudsman. After explaining his situation, the representative said they'd open an investigation, but it could take 30 days. "I don't have 30 days, Marcus said. "I have rent due in 3 days." "I understand, sir, but we have to follow our process." He tried to use his credit card at a gas station. Declined. He had $23 in cash left. His landlord called that afternoon. "Marcus, I got a notification from the tenant screening service. It says you've been flagged in their system." "Mr. Patterson, I don't know what's happening. There's some kind of mistake. I'm sure there is. But I have to tell you, if this isn't cleared up by the end of the month, I'll need to reconsider your lease. It's in the rental agreement. Any flags in the screening system give me grounds for termination." "Where am I supposed to live?" "I'm sorry, Marcus. I hope you get this sorted out. I really do." Marcus sat in his apartment, surrounded by things he couldn't pay for, connected to services he couldn't access, trying to solve a problem no one would name. He thought about his life a week ago, waking up, making coffee, teaching calculus to disinterested teenagers, grading papers, living normal, boring, unremarkable life. He picked up his phone and tried one more time to log into his bank account. The same white screen appeared, the same message, access temporarily restricted. Below it, in smaller text, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. Account status, flagged. For more information, contact customer service. He'd called customer service 12 times. He'd sent emails. He'd visited the branch. He'd filled out forms, and every single time the answer was the same: flagged. No explanation, no timeline, no process, no appeal, just flagged. Marcus looked around his apartment. His books on the shelves, his plants on the windowsill, his life packed into 700 square feet of space he might not be able to afford. Next month, everything normal, everything in its place, except him. Somehow, in some system, he'd become abnormal. A red flag, a risk, and nobody would tell him why. He opened his phone and started scrolling through his contacts. Maybe he could borrow money from friends. Maybe someone could let him crash on their couch. Maybe there was a way to live outside the systems that had flagged him, to exist in the margins, until whatever this was blew over. But even as he scrolled, he wondered, what if it didn't blow over? What if the flag was permanent? What if this was just his life, now marked, excluded, unexplained? His phone buzzed with a notification. An app he'd downloaded years ago and forgotten about was requesting permission to access his location data. He clicked deny. The app immediately displayed a message. Access restricted. Your account has been flagged. Marcus almost laughed. Of course it had. He set his phone down and walked to his window. Outside, people moved through their days, going to work, buying coffee, checking their phones, living their unremarkable lives. Lives that could be disrupted at any moment by a flag they'd never see, for reasons they'd never know, by systems they'd never understand. Marcus wondered if any of them knew how close they were to the edge, how little it took to fall from normal to flagged. One data point, one algorithmic correlation, one mysterious entry in a database somewhere. He was still a math teacher. He still paid his bills or wanted to. He still hiked on weekends and read science fiction. Nothing about him had changed. But somewhere in some system, a flag had been raised, and that flag was now the only thing that mattered. Marcus turned away from the window. His phone sat on the coffee table, screen dark. He picked it up and stared at his reflection in the black glass. The same face, the same person. Just flag it, and nobody would tell him why.